Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of GalaxyCon Live, where we are bringing the convention experience directly to you. Today we are going back to Agrabah, maybe taking a left turn at the Cave of Wonders. So let's go ahead and dive right into our introductions. Please, first, help me welcome writer, director, producer, DJ Tanner's boyfriend. He is the voice of Aladdin. Please help me welcome Scott Weinger. How are you doing, man?
Good to see you. How's it going?
It is going good. I can't complain on my end. How about you? It's the quarantine this past year been treating you? Have you learned any of the new banana bread recipes, stuff like that?
No, but my wife has. She's an amazing banana bread maker. But all I've done is eat. That's basically how I've spent the quarantine, is eating her banana bread. But
like quarantine 15, huh?
Yeah, exactly. But this is my first time doing anything like this, like a virtual convention. It's really cool. It's it's sad that we can't all be in person, but I love that we don't have to wear masks.
Absolutely. And yeah, so we're going to chat. We're going to chat with our friends, and we have audience participation questions. So if you guys are watching, go ahead and start writing those questions in, and we'll get to them. So next up, please help me welcome celebrated actress, Disney legend. You know her as the voice of Princess Jasmine. Ladies and gentlemen, Linda Larkin.
Hi.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
Hi,
Where are you at right now?
I'm in New York City.
New York City?
Yeah. It's a beautiful day here. It's quiet right now, but if it gets loud, I'm going to mute myself. So just know if my voice drops out, it's because there's a motorcycle going by or a dog barking or something, but I'll be here.
Linda, I just got to say, my sister absolutely adores you. Princess Jasmine is her favorite princess ever. And I just want to say, you made Christmas really, really easy last year.
How did I do that? What did
you signed her an 8x10 that I was able to gift her for Christmas. So that was
so great.
So super easy. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad she liked it.
Absolutely. Our next guest, he's a puppeteer. He is an actor. He is a man of the stage. Please help me welcome the voice of Jafar, Jonathan Freeman.
Hello.
We were talking beforehand, before you had joined us, Scott, Linda, and I, and he was talking about how he's starting to get that Anderson Cooper look. But Jonathan, you have knocked that out of the park.
The Anderson Cooper look?
Absolutely.
I'll take that's a great compliment. No, Scott's got it sewn up. I just want to look like Scott.
Very kind.
Now it's the Scott Weinger look.
The Scott Weinger.
That's right.
Scott Weinger look. Yes. I last, hung out with you guys in Richmond a year ago.
That was I left my house.
That was the last time we were all together.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we got to celebrate Gilbert's birthday together.
That was great.
Unfortunately, he's not here, but you know who is? The voice of Razul, and somebody who's in pretty much every single one of your favorite Disney movies. Please help me welcome Jim Cummings. Jim, how are you doing, man?
And the crowd went mild. Very good. Hi, everybody.
I'm digging the hat.
It's great to almost be here. Well, I am in Texas, So there you go. Thank you. Thank you much.
Man, it's great to be here with all of you guys. And I know there's a ton of questions being written like feverishly for you, but I have a couple of my own that I just have to get into. We discussed it a little bit before, but when you were auditioning for this role, do you guys remember it? Does it stick out? Did you know you were auditioning for Disney?
I had no clue what I was auditioning for, thank God, because if I knew, I would have been so nervous I wouldn't have gotten a call back. So they said, my agent said, I said, what is it? They said, some cartoon. And so
Yep.
I don't think I don't know if they were intentionally doing me a favor by not raising the stakes too high, but I went in there very relaxed because I didn't realize if I knew I was walking into the next 30 years of my life, it might have been a different experience. Would have been
So true.
That's a nice
Linda, do you
takeaway.
remember like auditioning to be a Disney princess?
I remember it very specifically. I was living on Riverside Drive in Los Angeles, and my friend picked me up to take me to the audition because she also had the audition. So we went together,
that
and
was comfy.
she had a fancy fax machine, so she'd gotten the sides the night before, and she let me read them in the car on the way to the audition. So I
You were
remember.
already on
it very
Riverside
well.
Drive. That's pretty close.
What'd you say?
It wasn't a big trip to the audition if you were already on Riverside.
Yes, I was in North Hollywood. Where'd we go? Burbank? Yeah, not too far. Not too far.
It's an awkward
Not walking
car ride
distance,
when you're both
but-
trying for the same position.
You know, it's really funny. It wasn't like that. Like everyone I knew was auditioning for everything. So we had a camaraderie really. We were all competing against each other, true, but we were really rooting for each other. And there was a lot of work. Everyone was getting the jobs that were meant for them, I think. You know, sometimes there'd be something really big that everyone wanted. Honestly, this one wasn't it. No one realized what we were auditioning for. So
Wow.
I think that, you know, everyone was really happy for me when I got this cartoon. No one really thought it
Jonathan.
was like as big as it turned out to be.
Absolutely. Jonathan, do you remember auditioning?
Yes, I do. My audition came in a very strange way. I had been doing 2 years prior to my audition, I was doing a very challenging off-Broadway musical with Nathan Lane and Reggie Cafe. It was called In a Pig's Valise, and it was cast by a wonderful guy named Albert Tavares. And Albert Tavares was the casting director of Aladdin. And it was the first time that I had played a villain on stage in New York City, and thanks to Graciela Danielle. And so that's really how it happened for me. It was because Albert brought me in. And I was grateful. It was so exciting. It was very exciting. It still is.
So did you know it was for Disney when you were brought in for that?
I did. Oh yeah, absolutely. I knew. And I had met Howard Ashman and Alan Menken years before because I auditioned for the original production, off-Broadway production of Little Shop of Horrors, which I did not get, but I had a terrific audition. And it was one of those appointments that don't happen that often where you walk out feeling good about yourself. Walk out, beating yourself up. They were such gentlemen, and it was such an easy time, and they were so wonderful that I thought, gosh, I hope I get to work for them sometime, even if it's not for this, 30 years
Jim,
later.
this was, I guess, you've been in so many classics now, but this was towards the beginning of that career. Do you remember auditioning for Disney and auditioning for this role?
Yeah, yes, I do. I'd known Ron and John, the producers for a good while. And I remember, and I think sometimes I'm their cleanup guy. And, it's like, who are we going to get? Just get Jim. And so I'm like all-purpose tool, I guess. And I remember reading for it. And they said, well, here, you know what? Let's throw another couple at you. And I remember I almost cut off Princess Jasmine's arm. So that I had that going for me. When she stole my apple. You guys, I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of an unrewarding experience. Terrible, because I really had my heart set on Princess Jasmine. But apparently they wanted a real girl.
That was my audition scene, by the way, that marketplace scene.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I think
Was it?
He was, like I'm so glad you found her. I think that was one of my scenes that I had.
Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, you guys didn't provide the singing voices. Was that something you were looking forward to or dreading, knowing that how big of a musical number Disney animated films usually are?
Well, I had auditioned a few years before this, or I don't know, maybe a year or two for this movie Newsies, which was another live action. And I gave a great audition, and they said, that was great. I could tell that I had nailed it. They were like, oh, one question, can you sing? And I said, nah, not really. And they said, sorry. And then a friend of mine got the part who couldn't really sing either, and they just taught him how to sing. So I learned a very valuable lesson, which is if they ask you if you can do anything, just say you can and figure it out later. So they said at the Aladdin audition, they said, can you sing? And I was like, well, sure. And they gave me sheet music and a tape of Alan and singing the demo. And I practiced so much. I really tried my hardest, but boy, did I blow it. But you know what, but it kept me alive in the process. I think if I had said no, they would have given it immediately to, they would have just, said, well, sorry. Then would have been the Newsies situation. But
it would have been a whole new world for you. No, but seriously, folks.
Yeah, exactly. A whole new world for somebody else. So, but anyway, I gave it my best shot, but there was no competing with the beautiful stylings of Brad Kane.
Yeah. And
Linda,
what a perfect match, too.
Yeah.
Voices
Linda,
are so
were you
seamless
looking forward to singing?
So I didn't have a song. And if Jasmine had a song at the beginning of this process, I would not have been considered. I wasn't a singer. It wasn't something that I could, really even lean into. It wasn't what I do. So I don't think I would have had the opportunity, but they wrote a song for Jasmine probably a year into me recording. So at that point, they asked me if I could sing, and I was like happy birthday or something. And they're like, no, we're writing a song for Jasmine. And I was like, oh boy, that's it. That's the end of this job. And because Scott and Brad was working out so well, they considered finding a voice to match mine. And Lea Salonga was hired and just knocked it out of the park. And it was also so seamless to hear my speaking voice going into her singing voice. I was like, I would never know. She almost had me convinced that I could sing. It was pretty incredible what they were able to do.
Absolutely. Are you guys ready for some fan questions?
Oh, yes.
Sure.
All right. So first, from Matthew, where would you go if you had a magic carpet?
I would go anywhere. I haven't been anywhere in a year. I would go to Trader Joe's.
There you go. That's convenient.
Oh, wow.
I would go to Linda's house. Just for the record. I would go visit her.
I would be so happy to have you here. You're always welcome at my house.
Thank you, my dear.
I would go everywhere. What'd you say, Jonathan?
I'd say I'd pretty much go anywhere right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everywhere, like you said, actually.
I would go everywhere. Yes. Yeah. I would have an itinerary for you by the end of this. But for starters, I'd go visit each one of you. That would take, maybe how long would it take on the magic carpet? I guess it would be fast.
Very
and then maybe I would go to Bali. And
because you
somewhere, like a beach for sure. Somewhere with sunshine, and I don't know, everywhere. Do a flyover.
And no masks.
Everywhere. I like it.
Great.
All right. Our next question. Let's see. Where are we at? From Kevin. What is your favorite memory from working on Aladdin?
I think Scott and I might have the same one.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Were you going to say working with Robin? Yes. Working with Robin Williams was a dream come true. I was like a huge fan. Dead Poet Society was my ultimate favorite movie.
Yeah.
I couldn't even believe I was in the same room with them, much less working with them on something. So yeah, that was incredible. Unforgettable.
Yeah, so that was a question that I had. You got to work in a recording studio with Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's way different than how they do things today where it's everyone's in a separate room and stuff. So getting to work with Robin.
I feel like, my theory about it is that, he improvised a lot. So there was no way to just record him on his own and then just splice it all together.
Yeah.
You never knew what he was going to say, and then we had to change our reaction. So I think maybe that's why. But it was a lucky break.
They told me they had 4 hours of him alone.
Oh wow!
That's a lot of improv.
Yeah, just doing his thing.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, since you're talking like this, I wasn't working with him, but I'll just jump to like the third Aladdin. When Dan Castellaneta came in and was Aladdin for a while. He
was the genie.
The genie, I'm sorry. Yeah, Aladdin, Jesus. But yeah, there's a line in there where he's interviewing Rasul as a district attorney. He's the cross-examining him. And I always ad-lib a lot for better or worse, and Robin only does. And so they were cracking up. They said, Robin was reacting to your this and that, and he said, "I will not be upstaged by a tertiary character. I'm very sorry." And he turned me into a lampshade and snapped me up, and they kept it in the movie. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever. It's in the movie.
That's awesome.
So it was very cool.
That is really cool.
Oh Lord. We did both. We're able to be in the room with each other, and we also worked separately. Mm-hmm. And we worked sometimes with nobody. Just line to line, readers, and sometimes you were just on your own. It was nice, but in the beginning is when I think we all met in the studio together, right? Yeah. Like at the very beginning. So you could kind of hear other people's voices and what they were going to kind of be doing, or, just get a sense of what was going on.
Yeah, further down the line, there was more solo stuff. There would just be a list of lines or even words and fragments of words that you have, or even sounds. But in the beginning, we were all there together. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Jonathan, do you have a favorite memory from working on Aladdin besides just, working with Robin? I
was only in the studio with him probably once, and I think that once for sure, and then the other time I passed him in the hallway. I was going into Studio B at the corner of Dopey Drive and Goofy Lane, and he was on his way out or something, and that was kind of it. I mean, the stuff that I have with him in the movie is actually a lot more than I have with the genie, because I'm doing the Broadway show now too, is a lot more than I have with the genie in the Broadway show. There was more stuff to do. So I did have, but I only have a recollection of one day in the studio with him. And it was a great day. I kind of remember every day, though, to be honest. I hate to sound Pollyannish about it, but I had a great time. And every day was a lot of fun. And I worked for I was on it for about 1 year and 9 months for all different reasons that came and went. And getting to be in the studio with Gilbert was also a great challenge. Because
what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're referring to. Can you be more specific?
Yes, I can. That means if there were more than, the same thing with Robin Williams, if there were more than 3 people in the room, that constituted an audience.
Mm-hmm.
On went the switch.
So true.
Yeah.
That's I couldn't imagine trying to work with either one of those two and keeping a straight face the entire time.
That's the challenge, because if you laugh, you ruin the take. You would see all the people in the booth behind 6 inches of glass crying and laughing doubled over, and they could just let loose. But I had to, we all had to just do this.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
All right, our next question coming from Craig. Outside of Aladdin, who is your favorite Disney villain? Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good question. Okay.
Jonathan's an expert on villains.
It's true.
I loved them since I was a kid. It's all I ever wanted to do. And I was a big fan of Hans Conried's, and he's the voice of Captain Hook.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember now. I used to know it. I can't remember things so well anymore. I can't remember the name of the actor that played Stromboli. He was terrifying.
Yes, he was.
Just terrifying. But I'm pretty much like a big fan of all the villains and villainesses, and always have been. They were very attractive to me from the very beginning. I think the first Disney villain that I saw was Peter Pan, because I was born in 1950. So That was the first. That's what was around then. Was the Peter Pan sometime around then. Mm-hmm. That's the first one I remember seeing, and I thought the study was terrific.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
You know who's a great villain I just saw? We just watched Tangled again for the first time in a while.
Oh yeah,
Mom, she's fantastic. They have that
Mother Gothel.
Mother Gothel.
She's a great villain. She's a great,
she's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Linda, do you have a favorite outside of Jafar? A favorite Disney villain?
I mean, Jafar is definitely my favorite. One time, Paige and I got in a conversation during a panel about who her villain or my villain, who would win in a villain fight. And of course, I chose Jafar. She chose hers, but I still think Jafar would win in a villain fight. Probably. Jafar's got, sorcery, magic.
He would cheat, though. See, so.
He would cheat for sure.
Which makes him a better villain if you think about it.
Absolutely.
That's right. I know. That's why I can't choose a villain better than you. But I did really enjoy Ursula.
Yeah,
that's a fun villain. I loved her so much. So Ursula would definitely be up there for me.
Absolutely. Jim.
Boy, really, Jonathan. He's way up there. I mean, he's in the pantheon. If you go to Disneyland, right behind the castle, there's a House of Villains, I believe it's called. And it's got all the villain swag. And there's, Cruella de Vil. And she was a pretty good one, too, by the way.
They're all good.
Oh, yeah. They really are.
Always without a good villain, you don't have a good story.
That's right. That's right. The hero is less heroic.
Yeah.
You have to overcome a huge mountain to win. Otherwise, he's an errand boy.
The meaner they are, the better the story is.
You betcha.
You always wanted to be a villain. You always wanted to play a Disney villain, right? I mean, like a life dream. Yeah, right? Didn't you?
Always. Since I was
I think that's so cool that you
got. That was uninteresting to me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
I'm the closest.
I think we can have a 60-minute panel just on Disney villains.
Oh yeah,
pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, I guess Pete.
Come on, look at them. First of all, they always have the best silhouettes. They always have the best, the craziest clothes. Most of them have animals who can talk. Mm-hmm. Who wouldn't like that?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think Hondo Ohnaka qualifies as a villain, but he's. I wouldn't want to play poker with him.
No.
But he does have the requisite lizard monkey on his shoulder, so I got that going for me. And Pilf Muck Muck is his name, by the way. Please not flip Muck. Anyway, it's Pilf Muck Muck. And people ask me that all the time, thinking I don't know it, but yes, it's Pilf. So there. So take that, Internet.
Take that. All right, our next question here is coming from Adrian. Is there a special way that you prepare for voiceover work?
A lot of sit-ups, right?
Yeah, a lot of crunches. Yeah. I drink a lot of water. That's all. That's my secret. Is I just drink water all the time. And you got to get a good night's sleep.
Right. It depends, what kind of session you're doing. So if you're doing an 8-hour day, or if you're doing a video game, which is usually a lot of vocal strain, I usually do a little bit of vocal rest before the day, so I won't go out in loud places or have long conversations with people for a couple of days leading up to it if it's going to be a long session. And we always have, I don't know about you guys, I always have throat coat tea. It's just a miracle tea, so I always have that on hand. I just try to keep my instrument in good shape and not strain it when I've got a big session coming up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not if you're a villain. Smoke.
Yeah.
Party all night.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You want that rest.
No.
I agree with Scott. Water is your friend. And my little trick is that I put about 2 or 3 Ricola cough drops inside the little Avion or whatever it is, and then shake it up. And it's kind of good. And you go to a football game or a concert, I'm the guy who's clapping, and maybe I'll whistle, but I don't yell. Because you see these people, man, I was at a Springsteen concert last night. And they can't talk. And I said, yes, I hear that. Yeah, and I was too, and I can still talk. Thank you. So you got to watch. It's your acts.
Yeah,
absolutely. And speaking of talking, I just want to throw out a reminder that immediately following this Q&A, that you can talk directly to our guest featuring our private chat options. Autographs are also still available through the rest of the day. Make sure you check out galaxycon.com. You're already there, so check it out and chat with our guest immediately following this Q&A. All right, ready for more questions? All right, from Shaw, is there a favorite piece of Aladdin memorabilia that you own?
I love my cookie jar. I have a genie cookie jar. That's fantastic.
I had one. Mine broke.
Oh no.
That was so good. Did we get that at the MoMA event?
Yeah.
I feel like that was the MoMA cookie jar.
When Aladdin was first coming out, there was this very fancy event at the Museum of Modern Art, and I remember seeing Martin Scorsese there and having a heart attack.
Wow.
And anyway, but they gave us these cookie jars, and I don't know how mine has survived. There's no reason why it shouldn't have broken after all these years, but it's
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
now that I'm a parent.
Like you can put it encase it in lucite. Encase it in plastic. That
Yeah,
lucite.
I know my dad had one. I don't know if he got an extra one or if this was the same one, but he used to fill it up with Nutter Butters or something. But now I don't use it as a cookie. Now it's just on the shelf. We don't.
Right.
Nice.
Put it in lucite.
Does anybody else have the genie doll that's kind of life-size from the torso up, but the legs are like little doll size? Does anybody else have that? I have that.
I feel like I just have a very big Aladdin doll somewhere, but I don't know.
Ooh.
Genie
A huge genie doll. It's at my mom's house, but it's huge. And I drove cross country with that genie doll in the backseat of my car. And I would take it in every time I would stop for the night at a hotel. I'd take it into the room with me because I thought it's not going to be here in the morning when I come out. Because you couldn't really hide him.
Linda, was it big enough that you could put it in the passenger seat and go in the commuter lane and nobody would know?
Possibly. Possibly. It looked, the silhouette, I mean, maybe it needed a little boost, but the torso is huge.
Did it scare you at all? Did you walk in on it unknowingly one time? Has it ever scared you?
It hasn't scared me, but it did scare one of my little cousins once because my mom had it put away and one of my little cousins walked in and was like, but just for a minute.
I like that Jasmine picture behind you. That's cool. That looks like a
So that was painted by Paige. Scott, you missed it because you had to go home. Did you get one too?
I didn't get one. Wait, you know what? No, I didn't get one of those.
No, maybe it was just the princesses.
To the Jasmine, I got one of those from Disney Character Voices. Was cool.
We all were presented. It might have been just a princess panel. I thought it was it was the Disney Character Voices panel, but Paige painted a picture of each princess. I think most of you know Paige O'Hara is
really
fine artist with Disney and
that great?
So talented. And she made the most beautiful paintings and presented them, surprised us all at this live D23 event in 2019.
I remember that.
This painting lives in another room in my apartment, but I bring it in for.
I was so bummed. I had to leave. I was supposed to go with you to that, and then there was a family member health scare, and I had to literally jump in my car and race away like a crazy person. Like, I gotta go. And then thank God everything turned out to be fine, but I didn't get the cool picture.
I think it might have been a princess thing, but it was at the same event. So for a minute I thought maybe she had one for everyone, but I think she just had one. She specializes in the princesses. So yeah.
And rightly so.
I mean, I think maybe that's not entirely true because I've seen lots of pictures of the Beast and other characters. I mean, I think she can do everything.
Just you, Scott. She was just ignoring you.
No.
That's what I get for leaving.
Hang in there. You'll get one.
But she's super talented. I didn't even know until that T23 that she was an artist like that. I didn't realize that she was like a tremendous painter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
Jim, Jonathan, do you guys have any Aladdin memorabilia?
Well, I stole the lamp. I have the lamp on my mantle at home, so I guess you could say yeah.
Wait, where'd you get the lamp?
At my imagination.
Oh.
Are
Actually, I stole it from
inside of that lamp?
I stole it from Scott. All right, there. Now you know. Fine.
That's where the lamp went.
Yes.
Now we know.
It doesn't work.
Uncovered here at GalaxyCon.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool Jafar merchandise.
Yeah, there's a ton of it. I'm not a big collector at this point in my life. I'm at the divesting point in my life. So I've been giving a lot of it away. I gave stuff away to people in the show I was doing on opening night. And we got these genie watches at some opening, I think maybe in California.
Oh.
Yeah, I love that.
I gave that to James Monroe Iglehart opening night in Manhattan.
Oh, cool.
I think the stuff that I have that I really cherish is drawings from Andreas Deja, who was the principal animator for Jafar. And I have a couple really great drawings and paintings from Andreas and also from Nick Ranieri. Do you remember Nick? Also a wonderful animator. And he was one of the animators on Jafar in that movie too. Yeah, I have that stuff, and that's the stuff I really love. I have some old drawings too. You know, there were drawings, a lot of drawings of Jafar, like about 15 different versions of Jafar before Andreas came, took it over, I guess, that were submitted by all these other wonderful artists at Disney. And I have a couple of those too. And those are really interesting because it's not what we know. It's not the Jafar that we know. They're pre Jafar.
Oh, really? Is he golfing or anything? I mean, is he,
Something like that. No, what it is it's the opposite. It's instead of being sort of tall and thin and slimy, there's one where he's very short and very fat and smelly. And there's with like bugs flying around him, and there's just different versions, everything in between those two.
The Danny DeVito Jafar. That's very rare. Very rare.
All right. Our next question is coming from Brian. What is your favorite song from Aladdin?
Boy.
Well, I definitely like A Whole New World is a great song.
Yeah, me too.
But
Me too.
That's mine. For sure.
I usually say
Sing
A
it
Whole
for us,
New World, but Friend Like Me popped into my head this time when the question was asked. So today, I'd love to hear Friend Like Me.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Actually, I'm changing mine. I agree. I'm going with that. If name another one, I'll like that one too.
I like what's that? Prince Ali. I have friends who, when they see me, we haven't seen each other in a while. They'll see me and go, Prince Ali. As
Yeah.
Great.
my intro.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
Absolutely. Aladdin has a great soundtrack. So I understand why it would be hard to choose from the favorites.
I understand they did a remake of Aladdin. That's what I heard.
Yes, a little rumor.
It's I understand it's not as good as ours though. So that's what I heard. Now, I'm sure the fans will verify that.
Did you guys watch the remake, by the way?
Yeah, you know what? I took my son to the premiere. We had a lot of fun. It was really cool.
Yeah.
We had,
Jonathan and I saw it together in New York. We went to a special screening together. That was
Oh,
fun.
nice.
That's great.
Yeah,
All
I think Will Smith deserves a medal for taking on that role, for just,
Yes,
taking a swing at it. Like, wow.
Absolutely. All right, our next question here. Let's see. From Yayo, please don't shoot the messenger if I'm mispronouncing. But what about your character do you identify with the most? That's a great question.
It is a great question. I really love that question. I want to think about it for a minute.
yeah, me too. Well, Jonathan is pure evil, so I'm sure that's...
I can answer that. Everything about Jafar I identify with. I don't identify with him, but I really love everything about him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's great because they actually, for Rasul, they asked me to, don a costume, do a vest, and then they drew me my shoulders, my arms, they're all that big. It's like freaky. It's like seeing me there with, a little mustache and stuff. And I might be making this up.
That movie.
I was going to say, I lived in Florida. Like, I couldn't have been further away from like Hollywood. I actually lived in Hollywood, Florida, which is very far away from Hollywood, California. And so like, I used to like dream about trying to get into movies or being on a TV show, and, maybe the way Aladdin looks at the palace, like it's something that he'll never get inside of. I think that that's maybe what I relate to the most. It felt like some crazy dream coming true that I was able to come all the way out to California and, accomplish some of the things that I'd been dreaming about when I was really little.
That's great.
Yeah.
Linda, all right, we're on you now.
Yes. Okay. I mean, so much of the character, like Jonathan was saying, we've lived with these characters for so long that they really become a part of the fabric of your life. Mm-hmm. Initially, when I read the scenes that Jasmine had, I think what I really connected with the most was there was a certain courage that Jasmine had and refusal to be identified by other people. She really was out to create her own identity and to be free of the restrictions that she was born into. So this was something that I personally identified with her, and I really felt like her heart connected with me on the page the first time I read it, and continued to go that way through all of the incarnations of this character that I got to be a part of.
That's beautiful. Do you feel like that made it easier for you to read, and as you're feeling it instead of just reading it?
I felt like I could disappear into this character, and for me as an actress, this was something that I loved being in a recording studio more than anything else. I liked it better than being on camera. I liked it better than being on stage. Even though I had wonderful experiences in film and television and theater, nothing made me feel freer than being in a recording studio with big, thick walls and a heavy door. I felt like that was where I could disappear into my imagination and become anything.
Wow.
Amazing.
Cool. That's pretty good.
We have time for one more question. Let's see if we can get one more quick question from Rachel. Scott, is that the ship from Fuller House on your bookshelf?
Yes, very good eye. I don't know how that wound up in my bag on the final tape night of the show. No, but the last night people were, we were sad that the show was ending. I mean, we had, it was our second time on the set, and we had, in our lifetimes, and we were there. We got to do another 5 seasons of the show, and to be honest, there was another thing I wanted to take from the set that somebody else got, which was there was a cookie jar in the shape of the San Francisco, the Full House house in the kitchen. And I had my eyes on that, but when I went to borrow it forever, it was already gone. But then I ended up with the ship in my dressing room, and it came home with me. So, but for the record, if Warner Brothers needs it, they can always have it back. I'm just borrowing it for the rest of my life.
That's right. You're the guardian.
I'm the guardian. I'm the steward. What side does it on? Right there. The steward of the ship. Just
there you go.
And that's going to be our time for today. But before we go, Linda, do you happen to know anybody who may have had a birthday recently?
Oh my gosh. Is this me?
This is
me
you.
that you're talking about? Okay. So that is
Only
my
Linda Larkin would
bonus
ask
birthday.
that, by the way.
Right, because it's not my birthday. It's my bonus birthday. For some reason on the internet, it says
What?
my birthday is March 20th.
Yes.
I every year get birthday messages on March 20th. I don't know why that is out there, but it is. And honestly, I enjoy it. I'm so happy. Even some friends of mine forget that that's not my real birthday and wish me a happy birthday on March 20th. So yesterday I was texting with people. I was like, oh, it's my fake birthday.
Bonus
today.
birthday.
Bonus birthday.
Everybody should have a
thank
bonus
you for the birthday wishes. It's not my actual birthday. My actual birthday's in July. So I've got a few more months before I
So
change
this is rule
ages.
number 1. Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And don't believe everything you think.
But thank you for the birthday wishes.
So before we wrap up, any last comments, words for our fans? Scott?
Well, thanks for coming to this. Is really a cool experience. This has been a very weird year of my life and all of our lives. And, I think this is great that we get together like this in a virtual way. And I'm not wearing any shoes, which makes it even...
Me neither.
So, but I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us today, because it's a really fun opportunity for us.
He's probably also not wearing any pants, but he didn't mention that, did he?
Jim, are you
Only
projecting?
shoes.
What's that?
I said, are you projecting onto Scott?
Why? I don't know. Is that okay? I don't think so.
Jim, you have any last words for our fans?
Well, thanks for inviting me out to play. I'm, as Robin Williams said, I'm a tertiary character, so I'm just glad to be here. And I know Linda and I know Scott, but it's good to meet you, Jonathan. Almost.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, be well. Godspeed. Break a leg.
Thank you.
Jonathan, any last words?
No, just the same. It is very unusual to be doing this like this, but I'm happy to be doing it with all of you, of course. And I am wearing shoes, and they're long, pointed, red and black, beautiful, beautifully handcrafted Arabian shoes that I'm sure everyone's going to be jealous of and want to follow.
I
Linda, anything
just
else?
want to say thank you to all the GalaxyCon fans. We have a special place in our heart for GalaxyCon fans, because that was our last live event back in Richmond. And there's my head. Thank you. Thanks for the happy birthday, everyone. So sweet.
That's so crazy.
I know.
Happy not Linda's birthday.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly. But that was fun. That was the last time we were all together, was at GalaxyCon. Basically, I think I flew home on March 1st, and I haven't flown anywhere since.
And it was an incredible event. That was something too that, as our last event before they were canceled for the next year, we were so blessed to have that time together and to have the energy of the fans, because we were starting to understand even at that point that something was going on, and that, the world was changing, and really the energy of the GalaxyCon fans carried us through that weekend and has carried me through this year. This is my 3rd event with GalaxyCon this year. And it's been something that I've looked forward to every time, and has really lifted my spirits at important times in the last year. So thank you, all of you. Thank you.
And thank all of you guys for being here and hanging out together virtually on our virtual stage, if you will. And thank you all for watching at home or wherever you are. Thank you for all your great questions. And I hope that we get to do this again in person. So until next time, please be safe, and hopefully we will see you soon.